Yes.
Hi, Carrie.
Hey, Angela. Is that Terry Ann? Give it just a couple more minutes, guys, and we'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hide you guys up there. Today we are going to be talking about designs in Command. Design is the applet that allows us to create a whole bunch of custom marketing pieces to create a brand image that's consistent. And it's really easy, lots of options. You can get really complex with it if you want, but today I'm going to talk about just easy click, create, move on, service your clients kind of marketing. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand or throw it in the chat. I'll check the chat every once in a while, make sure everybody's doing okay. But it's going to be a heavy demo class. I think you guys understand the purpose of the marketing. We're just going to be going the very hands-on, here's how to create it and make it. work for you. So let's get started. Log into command at agent.kw.com and you will be taken to this screen, which is your home screen dashboard. One thing I will show you on this page is you're always going to see a designs update. This is where they post some of the newest and most popular designs. So every once in a while you can just peek at this and see if there's anything that you like. You can download these right here and post them to your Facebook or use them in any kind of marketing that you might want. I particularly like these. We posted these on our Instagram this week. Some fear versus fact real estate posts. And I got some interaction on those. A lot of people liked them, made some comments on those this week. So that's kind of the newest and latest. If you click on featured design, scroll down right there, they're going to show you a actual KW agents. This one might not be working. Patsy. Yeah, usually there's one down here that you can just check it out and see what somebody else is doing, maybe get a good idea. I think those are randomly selected and maybe that one doesn't have any actual content in it, but anyways. So to go and work in design, you're going to click on the Design Applet, which if you can see, these have changed a little bit this week. They're rolling that out this week, so if yours don't look different yet, they will soon. Some of them I think are a little bit easier to guess what they mean. But your designs is this canvas and paintbrush. Okay, so you're going to click on that. And that's going to take you to your Design Applet. So when you first click on that, you're going to be taken to My Design Templates. And these are all of the designs that you've created. So if you haven't created anything yet, this is going to be blank, and that's okay. If you say, say you want to create something out of something you've already done. I get this question a lot. So you create a listing flyer, for example, and now you've got a new listing and you want to create the same flyer and you just want to update it for the new listing. You're going to click on the 3 dots here and you're going to make a copy, right? And that keeps your old one so that you can print more for the existing listing and makes a copy so that you can update it. So once you've customized a template to be exactly what you want, you can use it over and over again without necessarily getting rid of the old one. So that is nice. And if you've got a ton of things in here, like me, if you've been playing with it, you can narrow down here to just the social things you've made, just the print things you've made. Okay, so you can narrow it down that way. You can search for a title. So you can go find, hey, that flyer I made on that one house was really cool. I want to use that again. Apparently it wasn't for that. Anyways, maybe search isn't working that great. So you can go look for any of your listings or your old designs and use them again if you want. Okay. To create a new template, you're going to click on this turquoise plus in the bottom right hand corner. First, I'm going to walk you through creating a couple of different pieces and selecting templates to create a brand image that's consistent through all of your marketing. So let's start with a social post and let's do a listing for sale post, right? So we're going to be using a listing. So let's import photos and text from a listing. And we're going to let's do a Facebook post to start with. Okay. So hit next and it's going to bring up KWLS. And so you can go from all listings to just my listings. So that allows you to go look for something for sale that has another listing agent, or you can actually use sold listings in here. So if we want to use Here is my active listings. This is the active one. That's the expired one. So I'm going to select that, and that's going to open up my designs editor with a listing already attached. Okay, now I get to go pick my template. So I've said that I want to do a social media post, so it's going to bring up social media templates, and I want to advertise a listing that is for sale. So here, this menu on the left kind of gives you some different categories, and then across the top here, you're going to get templates in different formats. So these are formatted specifically for Facebook. These are formatted specifically for Instagram, Instagram stories, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So somebody asked me, why can't I just make one that's going to work on all of them? You could do a square post for Instagram and post it on Facebook as well. But Facebook really likes this rectangular shape a little better. And it's such a quick process. You know, I think it's worth doing one for each one. And then obviously stories is a completely different shape. If you guys are familiar with stories on Instagram and Facebook both. But Facebook and Instagram stories are the same size, so you can use this for either one. Any questions about the categories of social templates? So as you can see, there's dozens under each category of possibilities. So you want to pick one that you really like how it looks. It kind of resonates with your brand, that you can use it over and over again. If you've got this kind of modern black look, if you like the more KW branding, you know, if you're consistent with the template that you're using over and over again, you're going to see, your consumers are going to see consistency in that even through multiple media. So I want to pick one that's just kind of easy to edit at this point. Maybe I like this one right here with that circle. I think that looks kind of cool. So to edit that, I'm just going to click use, and that's going to open up the editor. Okay, so as you can see, it pulls it in with kind of generic information for another listing. So I want to make this all about my listing. So to do that, I'm going to click over here on the left on the KWLS icon. When I do that, it knows that I wanted to talk about this listing. Now, if you hadn't clicked use a listing, you can go find one now. But it's a few more clicks. So it's actually easier if you click that checkbox if you know you're going to be dealing with a listing. And this photo, as lovely as it is, I want to replace it with one from my listing. So if you highlight it and make sure that you see this dotted line all the way around it, I can go over here and pick the photo that I want to put on the post. And if I hover over that photo, this little recycle button allows me to replace that image with the same formatting that that one has. So if I hit that recycle icon, you can see it comes in the right size. It's got these corners rounded. That's part of the design. And it's kind of already set up to go, right? If you hover over it and just put a plus, it's just going to throw it up there, and you're going to have to resize it and format it the way you want it, which you may want to do. I like for sale. I like that font, but obviously some of these things I need to change. So to change the address, I'm just going to click on that. Make sure you see the dotted line around it. And over here, I'm going to toggle from the photos over to the listing details. And that's going to give me access to all of the MLS fields that are about this listing. And I want to swap out. I can either add this text, but if I just add it, it's not going to be formatted. So I want to use the swap. So if you hit swap, it's going to swap that address for the correct one right there. Now you could do a swap here as well, but just that one number seems kind of silly to go through all that trouble. And let's see. Where is, I wonder if my thing right here is in the way. Let me move this. It is indeed. Okay. So I want to zoom in on this a little bit because I feel like this is really zoomed out. I'm having a hard time editing this text that's kind of little. So over here in the right-hand corner, there's a plus and minus zoom, and I'm just going to zoom right into it. And then I can highlight and put my cursor right in there and change this to be the right. So you can edit it straight up like that, or you can swap it. Oops, I just deleted that whole piece of text. Well, there's a good opportunity for me to show you that you can copy things. So if I highlight this 4 right here, up here across the top, it's going to give you all the things that you can do with that 4. So if you want to make the 4 bold, if you want to change the font of the 4, if you want to make it bigger or smaller, oops, I unhighlighted it. You might want to make it a little bit opaque or transparent. You can do that if you want to be able to see the photo better through it. You can make it italics, you can center it, all of that good stuff, just like you can in Word. But then over here, you can hit the trash can to delete it. You can make it, if I move this over here, you can see it shows up fine. But you can see all of these elements are layered. So if I send this to the bottom, you're going to see that it just disappears because it went underneath the picture. Okay. So if you ever move something and it kind of disappears like that, check and make sure that it's on the top layer. So if I send it back to the top, there it is. It's on top of the picture. So that's something to check if you're moving titles around and things and they don't do exactly like you want them to. Now, if you're trying to oh, I was going to copy this 4, so I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to move it over here because I accidentally deleted my 3, and that was not very cool. And change that to 3. Now, depending on how particular you are, one thing that I have found helpful is you can click up here on the file in the upper left-hand corner, and you can show a grid. So if you want to make sure your 4 and your 3 are completely lined up side to side, you can use that grid to kind of look at that and make sure it looks right to you. All right, I'm going to turn the grid off. All right, this one happens to be the same price. That's a coincidence, but you can swap that price as well. And then KWDBA, that's just our Keller Williams Atlanta North logo. So if you've set your marketing profile up correctly, which I will go over later and show you where that is, you can access that in your logos, and that's going to come over right from your marketing profile. And you can, again, just do the swappy swap. And ours is a little bit different size, so I need to move it up so it looks right. And there you go. I've got a social post all about my listing all ready to go. So if I hadn't been showing you guys how to do that, I probably could have done that in like 4 minutes. You know, I kind of messed around with a couple things and took a little time to show you where stuff was. But you can see that that is super, super, super easy. Okay. So if you're going to post directly from Command Campaigns, this will be available for you to do that from Campaigns. If you want to save it to your desktop, you can do that and then post from the native apps itself. I'm going to name this so that I know, so I can find it better later. So I'm going to call this Crossville Facebook. And then I can download it. For social media posts, JPEG is just fine. And you can download that and then save it to your computer. If you're going to print a postcard, you definitely want to use a PDF and use the highest quality you can. get the PDF, and I want to do a higher resolution, okay? So that's how you're going to save it to your computer. And then when you're all done with that, you're going to hit done. Anybody have any questions about that? Looks like I didn't actually get that title changed. Oops. So then let's say I want to take this listing and I want to put it over in an Instagram story. So I'm going to create another post or another design. I'm sorry. I'm going to hit social again from a listing. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to go over to Instagram stories. So I'm going to look at these templates, and either of these would look great. So it kind of depends on what picture I want to use, I think. But I think I'm going to try this one. So I'm going to use that. And again, I'm going to go through the same process of hitting my KWLS. It's going to bring up my listings. Now this front picture may not look as good as it did in the other format. So you can actually swap these around and pick the one that you think is going to fit the format you want. If you've got a vertical one, that would probably be the best, but most of us do our pictures. So I've got some aerial ones that might look good. Oops. So one quick note up here in the top, we talked about the file options and putting your grid on. You can also use the little time reverse. So this is going to let you go back to previous versions if you've been saving, but you've also got an undo and redo. So I just dropped that picture on there. I want to undo it, get rid of it, go back to where I was a second ago. And what I did is I forgot to highlight my picture. Make sure your picture is highlighted, and then you get the option to swap it. It's not my favorite. Let's try again. Maybe that's better. Okay, so I'm going to go through and change the text again really quick by toggling from the photos to the listing details. Go to the address, swap it out. And go through the same with the beds, the baths, the price, all of that. The DBA logo. I'm gonna go to logos, swap it out. So off the screen, so I'm going to zoom out so I can see it, and then pop it up there. Okay. So now I've got my Instagram story ready to go. One thing, you know, Instagram stories for that new listing, often you'll want to do a story with several photos. You just use the same template. And then what I would do is here within the editor is say Crossville IG, download this JPEG. And then I'm going to go pick the photo, go to KWLS, photos. Let's try one. Oops, I did it again. Highlight it, keep forgetting that step, and then swap it. That's no good. But you see what I mean. You would do it and then download that one. Call it Crossville IG2. Download. So now you've got multiple pictures for a story about that listing. Let's see, I think I saw a question. Where'd you go? You got the K. Okay. So let's go back. That's the editor, and that's how to create some consistent social media posts for your listings. So let's talk about your marketing profile really quick. You find your marketing profile by clicking on your name, go to settings, go to connect settings, and then click on your marketing profile. The first time you do this, I would suggest that you use the marketing profile Kelly guide. It's going to walk you through step by step all of these pieces. And you can see right here, you need to upload your KW Atlanta North logo. Now here's something cool I just learned. There's a couple places you can get that logo. Kimberly has emailed it out before, so if you search your email for it, you may be able to find it. Scott Hardy has it on the Rawls Group IT page, help desk page. But I just learned something new. If you're in Command and you toggle over to Connect, up here at the top left, and then you want to go to KW Connect, or go there directly if you've got that saved as, but that's where you can find your KW Connect link. It'll automatically log you in. Up here at the top, you've got some resources is one of the top menu items, and you're going to go down and click on marketing. You've got a few things here that are really helpful. We're looking for logos and branding. There's a KW style guide here for branding. But if you go down, and it's right here is a bunch of KW logos if you just want this KW here. But if you scroll down here, here's the DBA logo, and you can search, are we 178? Yes. And you can download that right there. So that is going to open up, it's a zip file. And so you'll need to extract that to your computer right here. And so find somewhere on your computer that you want to save that. Google Drive. Extract, and that's going to put the DBA logo right there in on my computer where I can access it later. Did that answer your question? I think that is an easy place to remember where it is, but it's available a few different places. Does anybody have any questions about marketing profile? I'm not going to go through this step by step. That's kind of in the 101 class, but it's basically just filling out your contact information, your profile picture, anything that's going to be consumer facing is going to pull from this page. It's going to go to your website, your app, any marketing pieces that you create, postcards that you send out, all of that is going to pull from this marketing profile. So that's important. It's one of the first things that you should do when you get into your Command account. All right, so if we go back to designs really quick. You can see these couple that I've created are here ready for me to use. So let's say I got a new listing and I'm going to do a whole new series. I'm going to click on these three dots and copy it. And then I just open it up and use the KWLS to swap things out, right? If I want to edit it again, you can just open it back up. And you don't have to stick with exactly what their template is. If you want to add logos or text or anything of your own, you can certainly do that. Put it wherever you want. If you want to add stock images, there's a whole bunch of them here. I'm going to show you an example in a second where we're going to use a stock image. But that's how you work on your listing assets. Okay. Sure, save those. Okay, so let's talk about some of the print options that we have. So if you hit the plus to create a new piece and you hit print, we'll keep working with listings for now and hit next. And let's look at all of the print opportunities we've got. So if we look at listings for sale, that's what we're talking about. We've got some awesome door hanger templates, and you can send these to Office Depot to print and then go and they'll punch the hole and everything. We have flyers. So you can see I could pick either one of these flyers with that dot if I wanted to be consistent. And again, you just swap the text, swap the photo, and you're ready to go with those. Postcards, again, look how consistent I can be. If I just pick that one template and keep going with it. Bifolds is a new, if you want to make a photo, if you want to make a flyer that is a bifold flyer, they're going to give you both pages of that. A trifold pamphlet also has a front and back, and then you trifold it. And then the other direction, bifold, if you want to have like a booklet type. So let's say this looks really nice with everything else I'm using. I'm going to hit use. And now that I've got a multi-page document, you can see down here at the bottom, first you edit the outside page. This is the back of the booklet. This is the front of the booklet. And then you're going to edit the inside. This is what you're going to see when you open the booklet up in the middle. So you want to put all your photos, change your details out. If this is in the way, just click this little pages and that goes down, and then you can click it back up to look at it again, to switch back and forth. And then you can email that to Office Max or wherever you get things printed and have it printed on some nice paper, and you've got a really nice luxury looking flyer. So you guys see how you can make a whole suite of designs that really match each other. They're going to be recognizable. You're going to have consistent branding. It's going to really do a lot for your brand. All right, so I'm not going to show you how to swap out pictures and text again and again. I think you guys have that. Okay, so what did I want to show you guys next? Let me think. Let me show you the listing and buyer guides. I think that's something that people struggle with, getting a cool listing and buyer guide or a listing presentation that you can take with you on appointments. So those are under print. And then listing presentation. You've got two templates. So let's just pick one of them to use. Now, the first thing you have to do when you're working with the listing presentation template is you need to pick which pages you want in your listing presentation. So we probably want the title page. So you hit the plus when you hover over that, and it's going to add that page 1 to your listing presentation. Okay. So now I've got a blank page. I don't know why I have a blank page. And then the title. So I probably don't want the instructions page, right? That's just telling you what to do to make this your own. Now I might want this one. And then I'm just going to add a handful here, and then you can go in here and at some point and look at all the pages and see what you like. Okay. Now, down here at the bottom, you can go through all your pages, right? So right here, I want to delete that blank page. That doesn't do me any good. So yes, I'm going to delete that. On the front page, I think that looks perfectly great just the way it is. I've got a stock image here. Now let's say that you worked in an in-town urban kind of area. You might not want this family here. So you're going to go over to images, and you've got a lot of stock photos here. So there's a whole bunch that have to do with our app and website. You can use any of these. Oops. Lifestyle at home is going to be pictures of people doing stuff in houses. Okay. So that's probably where we're going to end up here. And lifestyle activities, it's just what it sounds like. It's going to be people doing stuff. So if you're trying to advertise a certain neighborhood, or you're doing, you know, kind of a CMA for a certain neighborhood, you know, we're probably not going to be using the beach ones very much, but you can see there's a ton of stock photos here that you can use in your materials. Neighborhoods is going to show a bunch of different architectural styles, you know, people doing things in their neighborhoods, getting ice cream, getting on school buses, taking walks, and house types. So if you just want a picture of a house, you've got a bunch of options here. Some nice interiors, all kinds of stuff. So I'm probably going to go to lifestyles at home. And I want like more of an urban scene. Or maybe, let's see. Maybe I want to go ahead and swap for these people packing. That's another family. I want like young couple. Here we go. So maybe, you know, I'm this agent and I'm going to help you. And I'm going to move this text down. I'm having trouble selecting it. Again, I might want to turn my grid on, right, while I'm doing this to make sure it's just right. But so you can leave it just like it is, or you can customize this to make it look a little more like your brand if you want. Okay. So it looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to go to page 2. Do make sure, this probably didn't work. Oh yeah, it did work. Do make sure you're saving as you go. I have found sometimes when you're going from page to page, it forgets your last changes if you don't save. So here you've got a little bit of branding. I've got my own library of photos, so I can swap out my picture here. Change that up, and this is pretty cool. You can change it right for the people you're about to meet. So if you've got this already customized, you just copy it, change the name, and then it's ready to go for your next presentation, right? How cool is that? You're going to put some things about their neighborhood and their house. What's happening in Barton Hills. So this was something I wanted to show you guys about the neighborhood snaps, I think they're called. So I'm going to click down on KWLS. And where I showed you before, you can search for a specific listing. You can also toggle over to snapshots. You can search for a neighborhood name. And find the Georgia one, hopefully. Brookfield West, maybe. There it is, Brookfield West. Okay. So if I click on that, I can swap out the current Brookfield West market snapshot. It's got average listing price, number active, number pending, ready to go. And there's a couple different shaped ones. So this is pretty cool right here. Even if you don't have the stats, just having, hey, here's the neighborhood. I know what, I know what I'm talking about. That looks pretty cool. And then comps. So I know, a lot of times I just take printed FMLS sheets, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a little extra fancy, you can go in here and go to the KWLS. Click on listing, and if you go into the MLS and find the listings that, just write down the MLS numbers of the 4 best listings. And I would find the specific one, right? Because there's a bunch. It's going to pull all the solds, all the everything. So, but I'm going to select an old listing and use my same swap, type in the everything here, and do that for your best 3 or 4 comps, right? And then I'm going to save this for, I can't remember what their names were, but Brown, listing, presentation. And then download that as a PDF, print it out, take it with me, or pull it up on my computer and scroll through it while I talk. There's several options there, so that's pretty cool. Any questions about that listing presentation? There's a similar buyer presentation as well. You just go pick and choose your pages that you want first, and then edit those to suit the specific client. All right, finish that one up. Okay, let's talk about creating something totally from scratch. So let's say you don't want to use the template. You can hit this plus in the bottom right. That's how I did that virtual Olympics flyer you're seeing right there. Oh no, actually I did use a template for that. I take that back. Let's say I want to do some social media ads promoting our app, the download of our app. So I would hit social, next. Now at first it's going to bring up all the KW templates that we've seen a bunch of times. Oh, thanks, Queenie. So we've got some pretty cool app uses already. The easiest thing to do is just grab one of those and edit it, right? So for just go fast, that's great. If you want to do something a little more custom, you're going to go over to My Designs. So once you're in My Designs, You can pick anything you've already created and create something from that, right? It's the same as hitting copy on the front page. You can go back to templates. You can import a PDF file, which is really cool. If you've got a flyer that you've got a PDF of, you can upload it and it's going to take all the pieces apart so that you can edit it. So that's really cool. Or you can start from blank. So if I want just a blank slate and I want to create a Facebook ad, it's just going to give me a big white piece of paper to draw on. And so, you know, the major value proposition of our app compared to anything else that our consumers can download is that you can search by neighborhood. And that's what we're trying to promote is, you know, drill in further than zip code by looking neighborhood to neighborhood. So let's design a Facebook ad that says search by neighborhood, right? Okay, so I've got this blank and I want to put an image of what's probably the most popular thing in our area that people search by. People care a lot about schools in our area, right? So where's that school bus picture? Oh, it was in neighborhoods, wasn't it? That makes sense. Okay, so I want to talk about this neighborhood and how I'm going to size this. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to never mind that. Hold on. If you hover over this, I just hit the add and it just threw it in there, right? Remember how I told you that did that? If you hit this 9 little squares, it's going to use that photo as your background. So it's going to automatically size it all the way up. There you go. I knew that was what I wanted to do. Okay, and then let's go to app images. And let's go and so search by neighborhood looks kind of like this. So maybe I'll throw this one in. Put that over here. I think I'll put it up here. Okay, so I've got my app showing a neighborhood. And then I want to do some text. It's actually kind of big. I don't want it right on top of that kid's head. So if I go to text, you can save text in here. You know, some things that if you put it in over and over again, you can add things. You can add title, subtitle, body. Or what's really cool is there's a bunch of banners in here. So just like Canva, you can use any of these. And let's say I like this one. I'm going to add that. And then I can edit those words. Still thinking. I'm going to put it up here. And I don't want to say enjoy life every day. I want to say, well, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can control this better. Find your, so I want that in all caps. And I kind of think the whole thing should be bigger. And zoom back out so I can see what that looks like. I wonder if it would look good in white. Or you might want to draw a box. Let's see. So if I as dark as I can get. I might not like that one. I might want to add a title. I think I'm kind of making it mad going too fast. All right, I'm gonna take this title. I think this is gonna look better. Find. That's obviously too giant, so I got it selected. I don't want it 113 font. Don't know what font I want it, but that looks all right. And I think white text looks kind of good. Not over those trees though, huh? You can play with that, right? And then you can also change the font to look different, something that kind of matches your brand. You can also, oh, this would be cool. So I want to make this text school bus yellow. So I'm going to take this little sucker thing right here. See this little eyedropper image? If you hit that and then touch something else on the screen, it's going to make your text match that. So that's another little trick if you want to have it. That doesn't look that great either, but I think it's better than white though. There you go. You might want to put a box behind it. There's a few things you could do to make that look good, but it's not bad. So now you've got this fully customized image talking about your app. You could do this for a lot of different things. So any questions about that? Awesome. Time. Almost done. Do you guys have any other questions about designs, how to use designs, your marketing profile? We're about out of time, so I can't really start anything new. Are you there? Has this been helpful?
I don't leave a note.
What's that?
No.
I learned something new today.
I'm so glad. What did you learn new today?
I learned how to use that import and just import the words into from a listing.
Yes, and use that little swap tool, right?
Yes, that's what it is, the swap, because I've been deleting and rewriting, and that makes it so much easier.
Yes, nice. Let me show you a template I just found recently that I think is kind of cool. Under print, it's kind of buried in a weird place, so you might not come across it naturally. Maybe I'll show you. They're adding new designs all the time. You'll see seasonal and holiday things in here if you just keep checking back. They take away designs that aren't getting used at all, and they're just constantly improving. So you're always going to find fresh, cool things. So if you look under templates and pivot, there's a coloring book. So if you work with families a lot, you could send a handful of these to the Office Depot and have them printed in a booklet. You can brand it before you send it, so it's all about you. It's all about real estate. Let me show you some of the pages. It's really cute. So house hunting with Riley. You've got to change your DBA and stuff. But other than that, it's ready to go.
That is so cute.
Yeah. Are you excited to find your fantastic new home? I think these are cute. So let's see if there are any other questions over here. There you go. Awesome. Cool. So I thought that was a fun addition that just by poking around and clicking on stuff, I was able to find. I don't think they really announced that that was there, but it's pretty cool. All right, you guys, we have about reached the end of our time. I hope that you found something useful and that you can make some really cool branded, awesome things. Thanks, Kevin. Oops. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off. Feel free to email me or text me or give me a call anytime if you're playing with stuff and you can't make it work. I'm here to help.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.